hosted by you/mom's funeral. Like the title says, I, 26F, just lost my mom a couple of days ago to ovarian cancer. I'm devastated right now, and my boyfriend John, 31M, of 1.5 years isn't helping me at all. My mom and I weren't on good terms before her death because of my boyfriend. John and my mom never got along because he's a deeply set atheist, and my mom was very religious. Major issues arose once I got pregnant and had my daughter. My mom pressed for me to have my baby baptized into the church, which I wanted to do, but John was dead set against it. He convinced me that baptizing her and indoctrinating her was a bad choice and that we should let her choose when she was old enough. I agreed. My mom didn't take this well at all, and after many angry and hurtful arguments, she cut off contact with me. Not having my mom with me during my pregnancy over my baby's birth took a big emotional toll on me, but John insisted it was for the best, and that he didn't want my mom near my daughter at all, saying that my mom was evil for hurting me. At the time, I was angry, so I agreed. I found out my mom was sick with ovarian cancer a month ago when she called me and wanted to talk. I was horrified, and all the bullcrap kind of just fell away. I tried to make the best of my time with her, brought my daughter to meet her grandma, and tried to build good memories with her. I'm happy to say we reconciled, and my mom and I made our peace with each other before she died. I don't want to trash my boyfriend, but John has been a pain in the effing rear since I found out my mom was sick. He said she deserved it but quickly backed down when he saw how angry that made me. He refused to go with me to visit or help care for my mom. He didn't even really want to listen to me talk about how happy I was to reconnect with her. All he did was remind me that my mom had hurt me and that I shouldn't have any contact with her, insisting she didn't deserve for me to speak to her. I told him that my mom wasn't perfect, but she had raised me by herself and was my rock for many years, and he should respect that. He said nothing, aside from telling me there was no value in talking to her. Now we're planning the funeral. I asked John to go with me, and he refused instantly. He said he hated my mom, that she was a C-word to our family, and that he wasn't going to church ever. He claimed it was rude and insensitive of me to ask. When I said I was taking my daughter, he had the nerve to actually tell me that I was not, under any circumstances, taking her. I have been through an emotional roller coaster this past week. I lost my mom just after we finally made up. My boyfriend has been incredibly unsupportive, and now he's refusing to let me take my child to her grandmother's funeral and refusing to come to support me. My daughter is the one thing that brings me comfort, and I want her with me. Is that so unreasonable? It seems like the more I push, the more he digs his heels in, and I just can't take it anymore. I don't know what to do. His attitude throughout this entire ordeal is breaking my heart on top of my mom's death. Commenter. Your boyfriend is being completely irrational. He has no say in whether you go to the funeral or whether you bring your daughter. He's making your loss about him. Hell, he made your relationship with your mother about him, and your pregnancy and birth were full of stress from the BS drama he started with your mother. Go to the funeral and bring your daughter. You deserve to say goodbye to your mother, no matter how tumultuous your relationship had been. I'm so sorry for your loss. Ops response. I don't know if it's because I'm so upset, but I'm starting to see that too. It's always been about him. He's never accepted my wants and has instead insisted on a compromise that favored him. My mom actually cut me off when I said that we decided not to baptize my daughter. I tried for weeks and months to reach out to her and even texted and called when the baby arrived but got no response. I really wish I had tried harder, like gone to the house and knocked or even tried to run into her and talk to her. I was really hurt by what my mom did, and I let John talk me into thinking that my mom really was this mean, vindictive person for cutting me out of her life. Trust me when I say I regret it with all my heart now. Update 4 days later. Thanks to everyone who sent me condolences about my mom. It's been really hard these past several days, but I've been hanging in there. I tried being reasonable with John about how he wanted to handle things. I even told him, as one poster here suggested, that he didn't have to attend the service and could wait in the lobby with my daughter while the service was ongoing. Then, she could spend time with my family afterward. But he shot that down again. He said he would be able to hear the service, and that was a violation of his beliefs, and asking him to compromise on those beliefs was unconscionable and unfair to our daughter. I told him I had had it. This was the icing on a very large cake. I told John that, as of this week, I wanted our bank accounts separated. He had made us join accounts to ensure we split everything equally to be fair, despite me making more, and that I'd be staying with my brother after the funeral while we figured out what to do, whether that meant a total breakup or counseling. It was up to him. He said counseling was for the weak-minded, that we were staying together despite my empty threats, and that there was no way in F he was letting me take his money. He became very loud and got in my face during this conversation, so I just let him throw his tantrum until he took my silence as agreement. I took my daughter with me to the viewing with no problems. John and I barely spoke that day, which was fine by me. But things hit the fan the next day. When I got up in the morning to get myself and my daughter ready, I discovered he had the mother-effing gall to park his car directly behind mine, blocking me into the driveway. I had no way to get to the funeral in my own car, John always drives to work, but for reasons I can only imagine were to get back at me, he decided to take the metro and took the baby carriage, bottles, and my pump with him. My brother and I have our differences. In fact, we hadn't talked much since my mom and I were estranged. We started talking again after she got sick, but he'll forever be a saint to me for what he did. I called him crying, and he and my sister-in-law arrived within 20 minutes. My sister-in-law calmed me down and helped me get my daughter ready. They even brought spare bottles, a carrier, and a pump. Thanks to them, I was able to attend my mom's funeral in comfort, and my daughter was an angel during the service. My brother and sister-in-law calmed me down, and everything went perfectly. Even though I was a mess most of the day, having my daughter with me, along with my sister-in-law and even my brother to lean on, gave me some peace inside. I've made up my mind not to tolerate John's insane and controlling behavior anymore. He had a litany of excuses for what he did. He even tried to claim his car had problems, and I don't want to hear any of them. I never wanted to be a single mom. I always wanted to raise my baby within a family. But I've decided that going it alone is so much better than doing it with this man, who thought nothing of trying to kick me while I was down. My brother has arranged for me to talk to a friend of his who specializes in family law this week, and we're taking it from there. I still feel so guilty about what happened with my mom. I miss her so much. I hope that from here on out, I can make her proud of me, despite my mistakes. Up in the comments. For everyone who's worried, he didn't get his hands on my money. I went straight to the bank and took the amount of my last check out of the account.